Today I'm going to talk about economic openness and competitiveness. And I share you my own experience as a consumer living both in the US and China. If I want to purchase a cell phone in the US, soon I realize that there are two brands that are dominating the market. Those two brands are Apple and Samsung. They have 80% of the market in the US. And the other brands, there are altogether 20% of market in the US. And there is no Chinese brand inside the US. So I need to pay higher price to purchase a cell phone because two brands dominate the whole market, so they could raise their prices. And because just 80% of the market, so there's a high chance, there's 80% chance that I need to purchase one of these two brands. But if I want to purchase a cell phone in China, is more open to American companies. As we saw, there was no Chinese brand inside US, Chinese cell phone brand inside US. But there are American brand inside China. So in China I could purchase Apple, that is American brand, and it has 20% of cell phone market. And there are other Chinese brand that each are around 15 to 20% of market. So you have around 5 6 brands that they have 90% of market. So if you look at these two markets from the competitive perspective, you see that in one market there is only two companies that are dominating the market, but in Chinese market you have at least 5 6 7 companies that are dominating 90% of market, so it's more distributed. But when it comes to openness, again you see American brand inside China, but you don't see a Chinese brand inside America. So I think in this industry, in cell phone industry, China is more open because it's open to American brand. Let's go to cars, both electric car and the traditional cars that uses gas. So as we know, if you are a consumer in the US, you're gonna have some brands that are American brands, they have some brands that are Japanese, and some that are German. So maybe around 90% of market coming from these three brands. So there are these three countries that are dominating the car market in the US, and there are around 90% of market coming from these three countries. But if you look at car industry, car market in China, you see that there are American brands there. You have GM selling cars in China, you have Tesla selling cars in China, you have Ford selling cars in China. So there are many American brands inside China that you could purchase. But as you know, there are no Chinese brand inside the US because there's 100% tariff on electric cars. Again, as you see here, when it comes to openness, it seems China is much more open to American products, but US is not open to the Chinese products. If as a consumer I want to purchase a car in China, I could either purchase American car, German car, Chinese car from all over the world. Is more competitive market and is more open market. Third, let's go to the food industry and see what is the difference between these two countries. For example, in the US, if you want to purchase food like fast food or other type of foods, and there are brands like McDonald's, like KFC, and other beverages like Starbucks. So these brands are American brand that you could purchase food and enjoy your food with those brands. But these are the brand that could get food. And all these three brands that I mentioned, McDonald's, KFC, and Starbucks, they are also in China. Actually, many of these companies, they have more revenue coming from China. So again, as you can see, if you live in China, you could both have access to American brand when it comes to the food industry, and you could access to Chinese brand or other brands from other part of the world. But if you're US, you don't have any Chinese brand food industry inside US. You have some Chinese brand companies like Panda Express, but that is American companies, not something that coming from China or other country. So again, as you could see, China is much more open economy, allows all this company to go there, but in US is not there. And when there is more company in a country, of course there's more competition and the best products could be used by the consumer. Let's go to another industry. This time, let's go to the tech industry, technology. So there are companies like Intel, Microsoft, that are Cisco, that they are in China and they're there for a long time, and they're participating in the market in China. So I, as a consumer, if I want to purchase something from Intel or Microsoft in China, I be able to. But there are no presence of tech companies, Chinese tech company in the US, because as you know, there was export control and sanction on many Chinese companies like Huawei, even on other country, not even US, other country. So again, as you can see, it seems that China has more open and competitive economy than US, and maybe that's why the quality of life in China is getting better and better. And please write your opinion in the comment sections. I really want to know your ideas about this subject, and I see you in the next video.